to the Royal City Curling Club. My name is Melissa Saligo, and I'm joined here by Daniel Wenzik for his commentating debut.
Good morning, everyone. Looking forward to an exciting morning of curling here at the Royal City Curling Club.
Today we're featuring the Brian Jessel BMW team that is skipped by Sarah Daniels, facing Heather Drexel. Daniel, what are you expecting right off the get-go?
Well, it looks like both teams are going to get a little comfortable with the ice to see first rock went into the house, and Heather's elected to hit. So both teams probably just getting a little easing into the game. Just want to get their feet wet and get some confidence going, especially early in the morning. Just want to maybe wake up a little bit. I know when I was playing, that's definitely something that we did a little bit.
This is the third game for both teams, Daniel, so they've probably had a relatively good look at the ice, but I agree with you. Most teams just go out and play the first end relatively simple. It is early morning. Very early morning. Team Daniels comes into this with a 2-0 record, and Team Drexel comes in with a 1-1 split from yesterday's two games. Throwing lead rocks for Team Daniels is Hannah Lindner. With that hit and roll out by Hannah, good opportunity to get her draw weight is Naomi. Give a little shout out to coaches here. We have Ken Krause and Ken Britz on my left, coaching Team Drexel. And on my right we have, Katie Witt, coaching Team Daniels.
So just some information for some of our viewers. This is the Anita Cochrane Memorial Spiel. So a little bit about Anita is that she was a high-performance athlete, coach, and ambassador for the sport of curling. I was lucky enough to know Anita back when she was living. She was one of those people where you met her once, you could never forget her. On the competition side, one of Anita's highlights was representing BC at the Mixed Championship in Nunavut in 2009. While there, she won the Sportsmanship Award. Don't think anyone was too surprised. I talked to some people from other provinces and they still say that one of the most amazing people you'd ever meet. She always had a positive impact on everyone around her, and she was an active coach to junior curlers. She even coached the Australian senior men's team to a bronze medal finish at the 2009 Senior Worlds, Australia's first ever medal at a world-level curling event. Unfortunately, Anita passed in October 2010 due to breast cancer. Now, junior curling plays a part of her legacy. Also, if you'd like to make a donation to the Anita Cochrane Memorial Endowment Fund, there's information on the BC Cancer Foundation website.
It's so great. We have Anita's parents and brother Paul. They come here every weekend, every year, and just represent Anita and their family.
This is just a great way to keep Anita's legacy alive and so that everyone remembers how wonderful her and the family are.
So with that Daniel stone just outside the rings, Daniel. Daniels and Daniel. That's going to be hard for me. I just realized that.
We're going to have some Danielception here.
Maybe I need to call you Danny. Is that
No,
right?
you gotta call me Dan.
Dan?
Danny's some other person. I don't know who that is.
Okay.
It's not
I'll call
me.
you Dan. I never called you Dan. I call you Dan.
Can you call me Daniel?
I can call you Daniel? Daniel? Okay.
Just not Danny.
Just not Danny. Got it. All right, so Team Drexel just coming up light there. This is an opportunity now for Sarah Loken to try and get a rock half buried or buried behind those two center guards.
Noticing a little change on the strategy here where Team Drexel elected to leave the center guard and try and generate some offense and go around the guard. Now we're going to start seeing a couple more rocks in play here.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe bet for them. It was a tight center, and they definitely could have hit and rolled on, but they thought it was an opportunity to try and maybe set up a potential deuce. But we see that rock of Sarah's there just did not curl at all. It's a pretty great facility we're in here, Daniel. It's the Royal City Curling Center, curling club, as I said, and Ken McCardle does the ice, and they got new rocks this year, I believe.
Brand new rocks. Club spent a lot of money getting the entire facility.
Yeah, so they've done a great job of the ice here. The rocks are curling. It's almost arena conditions out there.
The surface is fantastic, and it's been holding up really nicely all weekend. The speed's been fantastic. It just looks great, and Canada's ice crew have done a fantastic job working for the last month to get all prepared for this event.
So both teams trying to get the hit and roll behind those two centers. This one looks a little closer. And a great roll by Sarah Loken. What a shot.
Great shot. We're seeing Heather Drexel elect to start removing some of the guards off the front, trying to open up her scoring area.
So it's the third second stone. This is Everly Roy's second stone. You could elect to come around, Daniel. There's a chance there. I mean, that rock is only just biting the top 8, but it is the first end, so Heather's going to elect to try and clear up the front. She does have to make the double peel.
I think she's going back to the end plan where she's suggesting that she's okay taking one, but she wants to make sure she at least scores.
The thing is, if she doesn't get both, it gives an opportunity for Team Daniels to get another one in there, and then she'll be looking at 2 on her last. So I think the opportunity there was for her to maybe go around and try and beat Team Daniels in.
I think I'd agree with you there. Just keep that control
Thanks,
of the house.
bud. We have a world champion just stepped into the house here.
No way.
Sterling Middleton's here. Wow. Hi, Sterling.
Howdy.
Hey, Sterling, come say hi to the world on the stream.
World on stream. Hello, live stream world.
Today, 3. Tomorrow, the world. Early in the morning.
It might be 5. This is Sarah Daniels with her first here in the first end. Trying to duplicate the shot that Sarah Loken just threw. Get it half buried would be perfect.
Great opportunity for Sarah Daniels here to take some real control of the house and control this first end. This one's looking just a little bit on the heavy side.
Yeah, the brushers were on that most of the way, and I think they maybe got fooled a little bit by the weight.
Especially
Sorry, Dan.
in the first end, ice is going to change quite rapidly, and you're going to notice a lot of changes in the speed.
Yeah, and talking to some of the teams, if you throw a rock down a certain path, it's one weight, but if you throw one down the exact same path, it's quite a bit quicker already. Like, it really breaks it down quick. So you have to be careful and adjust your weight that you're throwing on that particular spot. So this is a good opportunity now for Heather to try and save this end. She's facing 2, but both of those rocks, one on the top of the house and one on the back rings. This is a great opportunity for her to get one fully buried in here and maybe even get a skip's deuce out of this.
Heather just watched Sarah throw this rock just right now, so she should have a pretty good idea of what the speed is here.
This one looks like it's got a little extra weight on it. 12-3 hog to hog, so that one's going to go right through the rings. So advantage back to Team Daniels.
When Sarah just threw the shot, I imagine she would definitely be making the small adjustment. Melissa, I'd say this is a really good time to bring up just a little bit of the shot tolerance here and understanding where it's okay to put this rock. Like keeping this rock just in the top part of the house is definitely more important than keeping the 4 foot.
I fully agree. You want to try and take away Heather's opportunity to get to that 4 foot for her single point. You want to make her shot as difficult as possible here. So I agree. Anywhere on the lighter side. It doesn't have to be perfect in the 4. This weight looks pretty close there, Daniel. It's they're working hard. She took a little extra ice on this one. That's a really good result. She didn't have to be in the rings. I mean, it would have been ideal. But now Heather's got to find a way in to hit full 8 foot. So she's going to have to take a brand new path.
Melissa, one other thing to note is both paths, like they're both new, but taking that turn that Heather's suggesting, that there's a yellow rock that's corner guard way out there that actually might come into play just because the ice curls so much.
Right. So I don't think we've seen very many rocks go down this particular path, Dan. So there'll be an opportunity here for Heather. She's got to be very aware and talk to her front end to see what the weight she wants to throw here. Last rock here in the first, Team Daniels versus Team Drexel. And this is Heather Drexel with her last. You can just see the curl, that one just doesn't have a chance.
First rock in the path just can be very difficult to get that one into the house.
So it is a steal of 2 for Team Daniels here in the first. It's 2-0 after 1. We'll be back right after this.
Miles ago, Jam.
Shouldn't we be going faster?
Nah, with Bel Air Direct, you can save money on your optional car insurance by driving safely.
Up to 25%. Slow and steady, Jam.
Save up to 25% for safe driving on your optional car insurance with Bel Air Direct.
Woo-hoo. Sick fight. You gotta see this. Look. 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 Look.
Shh. I'm saving money.
Save up to 25% on your optional car insurance for safe driving with Bel Air Direct.
Welcome back to the 2019 Anita Cochrane Memorial Junior Curling Classic. We're now into the second end. Let's get the scores up.
He hasn't updated them. We can't put them up. Where is he? Yeah. Is that right? He has to update them before.
Where is he?
Will? Just leave that out for a sec.
I think someone touched the camera.
Oh, is that what it is? Sorry. I didn't know where he was. Wow!
It was really nice to watch a game. It wasn't like how she laughed when I was talking to her.
That's hilarious.
Daniel's not fired yet?
Not yet.
Not quite.
You're on mute, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, it was Bel Air Direct, Best Western, and ProBC?
Yeah, those are the major sponsors, and then all those ones are the event sponsors.
Okay. I'm just going to come back on and just...
Sounds good.
Just getting our camera fixed there. So again, welcome back to the Anita Cochrane Memorial, the 5th West Coast Junior Classic. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Bel Air Direct, Crow BC, Best Western, and all of the event sponsors that have helped make this weekend such a success. So after that miss, it is Team Daniels have a early 2-0 lead over Team Drexel, but Heather Drexel with the hammer here in the second end.
How you doing, Melissa?
How are you?
Good. So in the first shot, we saw Heather elect to try and play the corner guard, come up just a little bit short in the new path. Now she's electing to hit the rock in the top 4, seeing that it as a threat. It is definitely one of the options that are available. Melissa, is there any other things that you would think would be another appropriate choice for this kind of situation?
Yeah, I think Heather could have elected to throw another guard. She needs to try and get something going here and try and manufacture, but she didn't like the way where that rock was sitting, and that's fine. So this is a great play, hit and roll to the side, and if Sarah happens to hit and stick out there or hit and roll out, then she's got another opportunity. That one over in the 8-foot right now is going to come into play. She wants to try and get something going here with a hammer in the even end.
Melissa, this rock here is curling. And with a small miscue from Team Downs, we're going to see Team Drexel like to hit the rock and attempt to lie 2.
Yeah, you don't see those misses very often, but great opportunity here for Team Drexel to hit and stick. Sweeper's working hard trying to keep this one in the rings.
Sweeper's definitely worked hard to keep that one going. With a little bit of the roll, it does group the rocks a little bit. It gives Team Daniels the opportunity to possibly make the double here. Now working this hard. Just a little bit on the inside. Team Drexel here trying to get a little bit of the roll to keep the rocks separated to make that double even harder. Ooh, and we see sweepers from Team Drexel just not quite being able to hold that rock.
So one of the really important things to remember when you're playing on this kind of ice, Daniel, is you really need to get out to the broom. You have to make sure you give lots of ice, and make sure you get out to the broom, because if you're tight out of the hand, it's really, really hard to hold a rock with this amount of curl. Like the weight was good on that one, and just if you're a little bit tight, there's not a lot the sweepers can do to hold it.
This ice is very punishing for anyone who's just a little on the tight side or just pinches the rock in a little bit. Just takes that curl right away, and it's very difficult to save. Just taking an extra couple inches of ice and letting the sweepers take it, for a lot of teams this might be the difference.
So Sarah Loken looking to put a tight guard, and this one's going to come right into the rings. Great call by Sarah Daniels, trying to get that rock as far back as possible, trying to keep them separated.
And Drexel here just electing to play the one hit and roll in front. Melissa, this is, I could imagine a lot of viewers at home would think, why don't you just play the double? It looks very simple.
And what would you say about that?
I actually think this is a very smart call, just because leaving your rock in front of the opposition's rock opens up a gem opportunity, and that could be a way that you generate your deuce.
I agree. And if you play the double too, you might lose your shooter, so this is a great call. Almost perfect. What a great chance.
Rolls just a couple inches too far, giving Sarah Daniels the opportunity to hit and roll herself without too much worry of the jam.
Sarah Loken with her second here in the second end. Looking to hit and stick. Maybe try and get these rocks apart if she can. This one's really curling as well. Job number 1's done.
The important thing there is that Sarah Loken did remove the Team Drexel rock. So for Team Drexel here, they're going to hit this rock and probably looking at a blank here, so that they can carry hammer into the third end.
Everly with her second stone.
And this rock's staying quite straight. Much straighter than the other rocks that we've seen this end.
We saw that going away in the first end, actually, Daniel, where out in that 12-foot area, it ran pretty straight on, I think it was Sarah Loken's draw, going that way. So just maybe something to keep an eye on for both teams.
Also, Melissa, when we're going a little further out, that's also where the draw path is, and usually that's been worn a little bit more than the places in the middle. So it doesn't have quite as much pebble, so it's going to take longer to catch that curl.
So opportunity here for Sarah Daniels to get some draw weight. I'll put this one top 4. Get an idea of that and put that in your pocket for later.
Great opportunity for Team Daniels. I know as a skip, always favorite shot is to have an open draw somewhere, just to get that, reinforce that draw weight.
We'll be sure to update you on the other 5 games going on here at the Royal City Curling Club. Lots of great action here on a beautiful Saturday morning in New Westminster.
It's always,
Raining there, isn't it?
it's always a beautiful day on the South Coast.
It's a beautiful day on the island.
Someone's a little bit biased.
Maybe a little. But just not raining over there.
Well, it does rain less than that, that's for sure. Check in the comment section. Hello, Nat Middleton. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Insights from the comment section are always encouraged.
Good hit and roll there by Heather Drexel. Just puts it in a different location for Sarah Daniels.
We've seen Team Daniels throw in the spot a couple times this time, so I imagine they would have a pretty good idea of what the spot's doing now.
I believe this is where we have an overcurl though. A low side miss, as Coach Katie Witt likes to say.
This will be the third rock in the path, which means I should have broken down quite a bit, and we'll see a more consistent curl. Nice weight, and Sarah Daniels will hit and stick right there, and we're going to see Heather Drexel attempt to hit and roll out here for the blank. Interestingly, we're going to see Heather Drexel take the other turn compared to what Sarah Daniels threw.
What do you think about hitting it this way, Daniel?
I prefer to hit it the other way. We've seen the other direction curl 3 shots this end, so we'd have a much better idea. Also, going away from the center, we've seen quite a few rocks over curl go in this direction.
Yeah, we haven't seen it this way at all, and I'm just wondering if she feels more comfortable crossing the rock and trying to get her shooter out that way, and she looks like she's going to have perfect success. So she knows what she's doing.
That's exactly what she called it, right?
Absolutely. Great job by Heather Drexel. So it's a blank here in the second. Team Daniels still with a 2-0 lead. We'll be back in a second for the third end.
Miles ago, champ.
Shouldn't we be going faster?
Nah, with Bel Air Direct, you can save money on your optional car insurance by driving safely.
Up to 25%. Slow and steady, champ.
Save up to 25% for safe driving on your optional car insurance with Bel Air Direct.
the opposition's rocks in the free guard zone in front of the house, so Team Daniels is unable to hit the yellow rock that's in front of the house. So we're watching them come around the corner guard. And Melissa, I believe that Team Daniels is shot rock in the back of the house.
I think you are correct. So this is Jordan Henson with her rock. It's going to slip deep, if not through those rings as well. So Team Daniels right now, front end, just struggling a little bit with draw weight. Two options here for Heather and her team.
So Heather's electing here to play corner guard and try and protect the one she already has in the house. I think what Melissa's alluding to as well is maybe you could put another rock into the house and really take advantage of the situation that you've been given.
Definitely go open side right now. I know the yellow one's not shot, but if she can get this one fully buried as well, she could potentially be setting herself up for 3 this end. If they can make this one good, but I think you're going to see Sarah walk up there. She's probably not going to like that corner guard, so I have a feeling she might... Oh, could be wrong. It's still pretty early in the end, and I think if I was Sarah right now, I'd be peeling that yellow guard. That's the one that's causing them some trouble at the moment.
You might put in that guard to open up the potential for a double later on in the end.
I think this is a really good call.
Nice cleaning by Sarah Loken. And a successful peel.
It's a great shot. So now Heather's going to make a decision here. She's going to put up another corner guard, or she can simply hit the one in the back 12, sit 3, or she can even draw the open side. So a great call here. She sees an end developing. And she's changed her mind.
It looked like Heather was thinking about playing the corner guard, but she's electing to hit the one in the back 12.
I actually kind of like the corner guard.
I like the corner guard as well. I think it's just a little bit too early in the end to be making the final plays.
This is Tana Short with her second stone, and I agree, Daniel. I think that you don't want to give Team Daniels an opportunity to get rid of both those yellow stones.
Sweeper's working hard here on a nose hit, and Team Drexel will sit 3. Sarah Daniels here calling for the double. I think, yes, it's great that you want to sit 3, but you don't need to sit 3 this early in the end.
I agree.
We're only on the third first rock here.
This one's got some curling to do to get both, but looks like she'll get one for sure. This is Sarah Loken.
Look like potential jam at the back, and stuffs in the back. So opportunity for Team Drexel here to go open side and set up 3 rocks. And on some past teams, we would call this quote the triangle of death, where it's just very difficult to make any doubles. So huge opportunity here for Team Drexel.
Yeah, the goal here obviously to keep these rocks as far apart as possible and make it extremely difficult on Team Daniels. This is Everly Roy out with her first.
And for Everly and Team Jessel, again, this is just another great opportunity to really reinforce that draw weight without too much pressure. It's looking a little on the warm side, but we are going quite a bit out, so we should grab the curl, and there it sits on the tee line.
So 2 options here for Team Daniels. She can play the, looks like a kind of a steep double. She can play the hit and roll in front of the one in the back 8. She's electing to go to third shot and try and hit and roll in front of those 2 yellow stones, which isn't a bad call either.
Looks, with that much ice, it looks like she's going to be playing a little bit of weight at this.
saw Sarah's first one run fairly straight. Key here, she really wants to get a roll.
And this looks like it's going to be a nose hit.
With Sarah's second stone, I wouldn't mind them trying to make a play on the ones at the back. You might get, it might have been your only opportunity to get rid of two.
I think in those situations, another good option is to hit one of the ones that shot and really really make Team Drexel have to make one of their shots back, or they have to make the hit and stick. Whereas you're giving Team Drexel the opportunity to draw.
I agree. I like to say do the math in the situation where you have 3 rocks left and you're hitting third shot, so it just forces, so you know Sarah's going to have to make a difficult double. So if you hit it earlier, then it puts your rock in a better position.
We're seeing Team Drexel here hit the Team Daniels rock, that's top 12. So that's one of the options, but here they do have to roll in because that rock's not fully into the house.
The other option is the draw. Draw around that big stone. This is where a team decides what they, it's more of a comfort, what they like to do. Hit or
This rock's
draw.
curling very hard. Rock just squeaking through a hole in the back. A little bit of a missed opportunity for Team Drexel and sort of puts the ball back in Team Daniels' court, but it gives them the opportunity to hit and roll.
Do you like the hit and roll here, or would you attempt the double?
Personally, I would play the hit and roll here. I feel like as long as if I was throwing this, I would want to make sure that on the next shot that Heather Drexel has to make a hit into a good spot, and I should have an easier shot at a double on my next one. That's what I would be thinking.
Like the way you think. Not bad.
I think, well, let's go back to earlier in the end when Sarah Daniels elected to play the peel of the guard. It wasn't so much that was the best result at the time, but it was going to lead her to a better result a couple shots down the road. And I think that's where we have to be thinking with a lot of these shots. We're seeing Sarah Loken sweep this one hard.
We're trying to keep it straight.
Curling hard
really
on Sarah Daniels. And Sarah gets the thin double.
Not called. Good result.
It's within the shot tolerance, though.
For sure.
And Sarah Daniels always
That's not
knew
what
that was
Heather Drexel said.
it was always an option. So we're shaping up for another blank end here in the third end.
So Heather Drexel with her first here in the third end. Brian Jessel BMW Team Daniels with a 2-0 lead. Heather would be pretty okay right now, the way things are shaping up to blank this in and take Hammer into the fourth.
Team Drexel's definitely had a few opportunities here, so I imagine they're pretty confident that they can generate a deuce coming up in the next couple ends. You see the Team Drexel front end sweeping this hard, keeping it straight. And it looks like a hit and stick here.
We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors again, Bel Air Direct, Best Western, and Pro BC, as well as our event sponsors.
And the Anita Cochrane Memorial Classic, we'd like to thank the Bassett family, Royal City Curling Club, Westminster Savings, Hodges Fish and Chips, Refresh Carpet and Upholstery Care, and Boston Pizza, New Westminster.
All right, final stone here of the third end. Heather Drexel looking for the blank.
Melissa, last time we saw her take the in-out turn, and here we're seeing her take the out-in turn. Maybe it's just a turn preference for her, where she prefers her in turn?
It could be. It could be, yeah. I was just wondering the same thing myself. It definitely looks easier to throw the out-in turn. Well, here we go. Final stone, Heather Drexel.
She's super sweeping hard. It's curling.
They can come off that one and try and get it the other way. They should be stopped sweeping that. And unfortunately, a little bit of a late call. So unfortunately for Team Drexel, but they do score, so they get 1 on the board. So they cut the lead in half. It's 2-1. Team Daniels over Drexel. We'll be back with the 4th right after this.
Woo-hoo. Sick fight. You got to see this. Look. 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 Look.
Shh. I'm saving money.
Save up to 25% on your optional car insurance for safe driving with Bel Air Direct.
Welcome back to the Royal City Curling Club for the Anita Cochrane Memorial Junior Classic. My name is Daniel Wenzik, and I'm joined by Melissa Sligo. And we're here for the 4th end between Team Brian Jessel BMW, skipped by Team Sarah Daniels, versus Heather Drexel. We're in the 4th end, and Team Daniels leads Team Drexel 2-1.
It's a little bit of a miscue there for Heather and her team. She really wanted to blank the 3rd end, but she ends up getting 1. So opportunity here now to try and put up a center guard, and it's just going to slip into the ring. So really trying, it looks like the ice is right up to speed now. Probably running 14 and a bit, hog to hog.
One thing for Team Drexel there is I think they definitely want to be putting their sweepers more into use and knowing that they're there and the ice is very quick. You could be a high guard there and it'll still be a very good shot. And here you're giving Team Daniels a very big opportunity to take control of the end very early. Sarah Loken trying to make this one curl. And they get a nice roll to the corner.
That's a great shot, trying to get away from the middle for Team Daniels. That's just a perfect shot for Hannah Lindner.
We're seeing Heather Drexel elect to play the center guard, try and generate some offensive pull play to the middle. I think her game plan is definitely to try and force Team Daniels to be forced here. And by forcing play to the middle, she feels that her odds would be a little bit stronger.
It's really important here for Naomi as this one does come up short. She doesn't want to bring this one into the rings.
Tana's not really sweeping this one.
Trying to get it to about halfway if they can. It's going to be over, I think. But it is a center guard.
There's definitely space for Heather to put up a second guard if she wants. Sarah Daniels electing to go fully around into the top 8. And Melissa, usually a lot of players would think that the best spot for this rock would be either on the button or in the top 4. And a lot of things I've noticed is that keeping this rock just a little bit on the higher side keeps those rings open for later in the end when you need to draw for the extra point.
That's exactly right. You don't want to come too deep on this one because you know that they're going to try and follow you down if you get it fully buried. So the closer you are to the 4 foot, the smaller your scoring area is.
And again, for Hannah Lindner, this rock's just not quite curling up enough. And slips to the tee line.
Rate was really close, but yeah, wide open I think for Team Drexel.
And Heather's electing to play the freeze here. Again, try and generate that extra bit of offense. Oh, she called for what looks like hack weight.
A tap, I think.
I saw her tap her foot.
Oh.
For most teams, that would imply hack weight. So it shows that she wants to fully remove the rock. think because the rock's fully open, she doesn't want to take the risk of potentially leaving this short or leaving more rocks in the house than she feels is necessary.
I think this is a good call. I'm thinking that Heather's trying to go all in right now, and she doesn't need to. She's only down 1 and still over half a game still to go.
She's a little bit more than hack weight and just didn't quite curl up for Tana short. So a bit of an opportunity for Sarah Daniels to lie a third point. And Melissa, one thing to note here is that you want this rock to be a little on the deeper side now, I think, in contrast to the one where you want it to be a little on the higher side, just because you don't want that rock that Jordan Henson's about to throw to be another guard for Team Drexel.
Yeah, and I think the other important part too, Daniel, is you don't really need to fully bury this. If you half expose it, then the freeze isn't there anymore.
It also gives you an opportunity later to potentially play backline or hack weight and tap that rock fully into it. And we're just looking at a little bit heavy, and we're going to be tapping the first rock back a little bit, and Sarah sweeping this back to get some separation. I actually quite like that result.
I do too.
The forefoot's still very open for Team Daniels, and Heather Drexel, just seeing the blue rocks pile up in the house, definitely wants to get rid of a couple.
So by those couple early misses by Team Drexel, their degree of difficulty now and the precision of their shots has gone way, way up. They need to make a couple shots, or they don't have hammer here in the fourth, and right now they're facing 3 blue stones, so they really need a really good hit and roll, or hit and roll in front of that other one. This one's
see the
very
roll.
close.
I'd say it's about half to 3/4 buried.
That's a great shot.
Because that center guard is quite high, the difficulty for Team Daniels becomes a little bit lower because it does have that extra time to curl past that guard. Being on this side also for Team Drexel, they're going to be able to group the rocks a little bit better, and there will be opportunities later for a double.
Yeah, that was a really, really great shot. So this is Jordan Henson with her final stone, I think, in the fourth.
A little on the tight side, and Hannah Lidner is on this out of her hand, and they're going to be all over that guard.
It's not a horrible result. You know, getting rid of the center guard isn't terrible.
It keeps that forefoot and center line area open up for Team Daniels, which gives them the opportunity later. And Heather Drexel's going to have to make a really good center guard here, and look at the ice curling so much. It's not the easiest shot.
Well, and Heather hasn't veered from her game plan. She looks like she wanted to set up a steal or a force right away from the get-go. However, an opportunity is here now for her to set up a different kind of force. Daniel, she could easily go and hit one of those blue stones, the one out in the 12-foot, and be line 2 after that. And I'm not sure you want to try and make a perfect guard here and leave 2 opposition stones when you don't have hammer. I think it's too early to go all in.
Now, Melissa, when you say all in, you're talking about going all out for the steal or going all out to try and get the force?
Well, right now I think she's going steal.
Just a little heavy, and this is going to slip into the rings. And this will give Team Daniels an opportunity to make a double, but we'll have to watch for the jam in the back. Definitely jam potential at the back. And we're seeing both of the Team Daniels sweepers on this hard. See one yellow leave the house, sticks blue at the back, just barely avoiding the jam.
Great shot by Sarah Loken.
And it looks like Team Daniels is sitting 2. But they also have 4th shot with that yellow one in the back, just out counting it.
So it's cleanup time here on aisle 4 for Team Drexel. They need to try and get rid of some of those blue stones.
So one kind of cool thing here with the setup is that with a nose hit here by Team Drexel, they should be shot stone. But if Team Daniels comes back and hits that as well, they actually won't be shocked because that back one will be out counting it. You see the Team Drexel sweepers hard on this hard. Again, a very good result. So Team Drexel is now shot stone. And Team Daniels will be looking for the roll here. Melissa, if you get the roll here, it also looks like a pretty good chance to get the double. It's a very long double, and you're not really going to be calling for it, but the opportunity is there.
I agree. I think it's worth the risk right now.
The potential payoff is to sit 3 in a very spread out.
Yeah, huge risk versus reward. I think the risk is definitely worth the reward. Oh.
And this is Sarah Loken with her last draw in the 4th end. Sweeper's not on this at all. Looks a little bit on the wider side.
I'll have to get to at least know.
Well, I gotta watch the jam at the back, and it will dead jam.
Well, that's a turn of events here in the 4th end.
Just a really unlucky break for Sarah Loken there.
So it looks like Team Daniels sits
No, Team
second
Drex.
and 4th? No,
Team-
second and 4th, yeah.
Team Daniels will be second shot and 4th shot here, with Team Drexel being shot at the back 12.
So opportunity here for her to hit and roll.
Heather here is looking at the hit and roll to potentially sit 3. Definitely a good option here to put a little bit of pressure on to Sarah Daniels for her last couple shots.
The important here thing is the scoring area is very, very large right now. Daniel, the whole 4 foot, 8 foot is open. So it looks like we're gonna.
Well, we're potentially seeing a timeout here by.
Ken Britz is trying to call a timeout, and the team sees it. So
Team sees it. We'll have a timeout here. I think what Ken's worried about is that anything on the high side by hitting that rock potentially, is almost sure to jam on one of the Team Drexel stones at the back 12.
So they're probably looking at throwing the intern draw, I would imagine, to top 8.
I'd imagine
sitting
so. It's a much safer shot. The draw always has a much higher percentage chance of being made compared to a hit and roll.
And Heather could always throw that hit on her last one if she wanted to really put some pressure on Sarah. But this is a good opportunity to throw the intern half come around.
And Melissa, to your point that you said that the whole 8 foot and 4 foot are entirely open for Sarah Daniels here. Maybe by beating her to the top 8, at least you can shrink the rings just a little bit and put some pressure and say, okay, you put your rock in a really good spot.
I think this is a great call good timeout by Coach Ken.
Just a reminder for our viewers, we're going to be back here again today at 12 o'clock Pacific for the next game. And that game will be, the game featured will be, Team Caldwell versus Team Dawson Ballard.
All right, so timeout is complete. Beverly and Heather just having a look here, just exactly where they want to place this stone. But as we suspected, the intern draw is the call.
We're seeing Heather Drexel take quite a bit of ice here just to make sure that you're always going to be by that blue one. I think one thing to remember here is that it's always okay to be half open. You don't need to fully bury.
What's the tolerance on this shot, Daniel, for you?
I'd say the tolerance here is always to be a little on the lighter side. One thing to note is that I don't think you're ever going to see Sarah Daniels hit the back yellow rock because it doesn't give her potential payoff and just gives control of the house right back to Team Drexel. So if you're a little on the lighter side here, it always gives you opportunity because you're always going to see Sarah draw to the left side of the house.
So The sweeper's working hard on this one. They'd love to get this top 8. They're gonna have to work really hard to get it there.
The ice is keened up, and they're working hard to drag it into the house. And they're still going. Man, the sweeper's working super hard, and it looks like they're just gonna end up just a tad short. But as Melissa, as we just said, it's important to be a little on the shorter side there, because going deep would give Sarah Daniels an opportunity to freeze onto it and get a really cheap deuce. Also, by putting that rock there, any small error here by Sarah Daniels would give Team Drexel the opportunity to draw around the rock that Heather just threw.
So Sarah Daniels is likely gone to school on what happened there with Heather's shot, so she's gonna, I'm sure she did some times and she knows where to put the broom. So with a good talk with her brushing team there, she's gonna try and put this one fully buried, half buried around that yellow guard.
From our view, we saw Sarah Loken definitely giving Sarah Daniels a little bit of information on the draw weight there. Sweeper's working this pretty hard. It's not curling quite yet.
The inside sweeper, Sarah Loken, was on this one right away. It's got a lot of room.
Now Sarah Loken's trying to make this one curl.
I think they could have managed that one a little bit better down the sheet. They went on it really early. I think they thought maybe it was a tad light, but by getting on it early, it didn't get the curl right away. So it is wide open, I think, for Heather Drexel.
Usually for those shots, you want to keep it nice clean unless you know for sure it's light, and just as long as it's close, just keep it nice and clean, and just let it take that nice gradual curl. And then where you can really manage the rock. All the top teams that you see at the Briar and the Scotties will always be managing those rocks. Like, it's just an art for them, and they know exactly where that's going. Melissa, I missed the call here.
She's called the freeze.
Called the freeze. Trying to really put some pressure on Team Daniels here, and shrink their scoring area down to literally just the button.
Even a freeze tap wouldn't be too bad.
The one thing you have to remember with the tap is that you can't tap open, because if you
Correct.
tap open, you're also going to give the opportunity for the double for potentially 3. And all of a sudden, your force just turned around in a hurry.
So Heather Drexel with her last stone in the 4th end, trailing by 1.
So tolerance here is always to be a little on the short side, just in case.
It looks pretty good. It's all about the line here now. Weight's really good. I'm not sure why they're sweeping this, to be honest.
Looks a little bit deep, and the rock's going to go right by. I think just a little bit of miscommunication there between the sweepers and the house.
I think
and where
so.
that was. Yeah, I got a 13.09 on that, so Melissa. So that's usually more indicative of a hack weight compared to a straight draw. So opportunity here for Sarah Daniels to get the deuce here in the 4th end. And Sarah Daniels just made the draw here perfectly.
All right, Sarah Daniels with her last stone in 4, looking to pick up a pair. What we're going to call the skip's deuce if she makes it.
Definitely the textbook definition of the skip's deuce, where you just come around the guard. The sweeper's working this one hard. Jordan Henson coming out to help sweep.
That's
Don't
pretty
think-
good.
A little overreaction, just
Yeah.
they're quite easily on its own. I'm going to sweep this right to the tee line.
What a great shot by Sarah Daniels on that little mistake by Heather Drexel. So it's 2 on the board for Team Daniels. It is now 4-1 after 4, heading into the break.
Now we're going to update you on some of the scores that are going around for other games. So on sheet 1, we have Team Calhoun leading Team Douglas 2-1 in the 4th end. Sheet 2, we have Team Sato leading Team Faye 5-1 in the 4th end. On sheet 3, we have Team Kamada leading Team Carpenter 1-0. And they're playing their 4th end right now. On sheet 5, we have Team Elizabeth Bowles leading Team 4K Girls 5-1. And on sheet 6, we have Team Preston Ballard up 2-1 on Team McNeil. We are now into our fourth end break. We'll be back after these messages.
Miles ago, champ.
Shouldn't we be going faster?
Nah, with Bel Air Direct, you can save money on your optional car insurance by driving safely.
Up to 25%. Slow and steady, champ.
Save up to 25% for safe driving on your optional car insurance with Bel Air Direct.
Woo-hoo. Sick fight. You gotta see this. Look. 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 Look.
Shh. I'm saving money.
Save up to 25% on your optional car insurance for safe driving with Bel Air Direct.
It's on mute, right? Front mic's on. It says front mic's on. Mute's not working.
Mute's not working.
There. the 2019 Anita Cochrane Memorial Junior Curling Classic at the Royal City Curling Club. My name is Daniel Wensick, and I'm joined by Melissa Saligo. We're back to the game between Team Brian Jessel BMW, skipped by Sarah Daniels, against Team Heather Drexel. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsors of the Curling Classic. The title sponsor is the Bassett family. I'd like to thank the Royal City Curling Club for hosting. I'd like to thank Westminster Savings, Hodges Fish and Chips, Refresh Carpet and Upholstery Care, and Boston Pizza New West. Also, thank you to Curl BC and their sponsors, Beller Direct and Best Western, for their support as well.
My agility parkour over. Parkour.
So now we're seeing Team Sarah Daniels a little bit in control of the game, getting their rock top 4. Looks like they got their draw away after the break.
Yeah, that's a great call, great shot. They don't need another point right now, and they're really trying to force the issue here for Team Drexel. They'd love to force her to 1 here in the 5th end. So great position by Hannah Linder on her first. This is Naomi trying to throw a corner guard. Team Drexel's definitely had their opportunities this game, so they'd love to get a deuce here.
And this rock just going a little bit wide. It's still very usable, and it definitely keeps that draw path open for later in the end. Gotta get close to you now.
All right, shot 2 here for Hannah Linder. She was looking to throw it top 12 or a tight center, and this one's looks like it's going to go cruising through the rings. So a bit of a mistake there.
A little bit of opportunity missed there for Team Daniels to really put the screws onto Team Drexel early, and Heather here looking to put another corner guard up, really try and take control of that right side of the sheet.
Took a little more ice this time, trying to put this corner guard in a little better position.
So this is me slipping a little deeper than they were intending. You have the overlap corners on the right side of the sheet there. Mr. Kinho. That's right.
So
Sarah Daniels here recognizing that opportunity to set up here is sort of passed, and going to put up the center guard to really try and put some pressure on Team Drexel. I'd like to give a huge shout out to Marcio Serkinho for helping us out here with the stream. Marcio has many years of experience in the IT sector and has been kind enough to help us out with the streaming here. So if you guys are ever lucky enough to see Marcio in the Vancouver area, please give him a high five for me. This rock by Team Daniels just slipping a little bit deep, giving Team Drexel the opportunity to make the double and open up the house for themselves.
So another potential shot opportunity here is to ignore those 2 rocks in the top of the rings. I know they're in the control area, and then you try and use one of your corner guards that you've thrown, Daniel, because right now I know that Team Daniels has some control, but you need to try and take control away from them, and unfortunately the hit and roll out's not going to help them.
Yeah, you definitely have to stick the shooters on those. And we're seeing Sarah Daniels elect to play around the corner guards.
She's just trying to, I think, block that path for Team Drexel. Because of the way the rock shot behind the corner guards now, there's an opportunity perhaps for Team Drexel to freeze to that one, so she's going to try and take it away.
One difficult part about the shot is that your tolerance is quite narrow here, because anything outside of that top 12 area isn't necessarily where you want to be, because if you're a little bit high, it gives Team Drexel the opportunity to either draw around or hit and roll behind that wall, and if you go a little deep, you might be setting up a pocket for that. So very careful placement of this rock for Jordan Henson here. Super just cleaning this one, which means it must really like it. It's taking its time to curl, but here it goes. And they're going to put this perfectly in the top 12.
Yeah,
very nice shot.
Perfect, yeah.
It's exactly where you needed that rock to go.
But as you predicted, the hit and roll here, or even, might even be a double, but hit and roll for sure for Team Drexel. Try and get a rock just in front of that blue stone that's on the tee line.
This is a little on the wider side, and Everly Roya is seeking this to make it curl a little bit. Oh,
Pretty
she's
close.
off.
She's
Very
really close.
And the hit and the roll. And you couldn't ask for a much better roll than
Wow,
that.
what a
Looks
roll.
like it's dead frozen on the walk around the corner. It's not shot, however.
What a great shot, though. So close. So Sarah, with the knowing that her rock is shot, just going to try and protect that side now.
She is going to be calling the corner guard here to
Tight corner, I think, yep.
do this. Melissa, are there any other places that you think you might put this rock?
You could actually elect to go away from that side altogether and go into the open side and try and get the force that way. Right now,
For the old saying is the best guard is second shot.
correct.
By playing the corner guard, you potentially are going to let the play go back to the wing. And you may be giving Team Drexel an opportunity to go around the guard that you just threw.
Yeah, I personally like T-line 4 foot on the other side, just keeping away from that side altogether.
Now the rock thrown by Sarah Loken actually ended up in a pretty good spot. It makes it difficult for Heather Drexel to draw around it. And she can't really play into the frozen combo on the side because she might actually lose her own.
But I think she can perhaps make the double and roll, or at least move them around and expose that yellow stone for maybe potentially the next couple stones. So again, going back to Sarah Daniels' previous call, I think really the call would have been to go away from that grouping and just keep things apart.
And this is crawling out for Everly Roya. Just missing the back combo. Does leave her rock in a pretty good spot in the top 12. It's a very usable rock for later in the end.
I think one of the things we're seeing here, Daniels, Sarah Daniels is trying to protect a rock that's basically just in the 8 foot. So I know the whole scoring area is open now, and by taking the play away from there, Heather would have gone the other way and try to stay away from that side. But right now, she's left the scoring area, so she's just trying to force right now by throwing a tight corner. But you don't want to be too high and give Drexel an opportunity to go around it.
Yeah, you're right. Too high. The ice curls so much. It's not too difficult to be tapping that yellow rock up into the 8 foot, or even putting a little bit of weight and rejigging them just to get that better angle. We're going to see this rock by Sarah looking just over curl a little bit, leaving the Team Drexel stone wide open and available to move around. Again, Melissa, I think when we're talking with newer players and newer coaches, we're always saying that we want to, when you have hammer, you want to make sure that you have the scoring area open, which Team Drexel is doing a very good job of here.
Yeah, I think a lot of good things can happen on this shot, Dan. I think that if she can hit just slightly high side, she might actually keep both of her yellow stones in the rings, and they'll spin over towards the middle and actually expose that shot rock at the back.
And you'll also probably have maybe potentially shot, but you'll definitely have second, third, and
Exactly,
fourth.
yeah. So really want to hit this high side though.
They're sweeping hard, and they got out half the rock.
That's a pretty good shot.
Very, very good shot. Stuck shooter in the top 12. And Team Daniels has a decision to make here, whether they want to go around the one that's just thrown, or if they want to go under the corner again.
She might as well stick with her game plan and come around the corner and protect that side. Right now, with that Yellowstone where it is on the left-hand side of the sheet, it just makes the draw path a little more difficult to get to the 4 foot if Heather needs to do that on her last. So I think for Sarah Daniels, she might as well just keep with the plan. Right where she's indicating with her broom would be perfect. Even corner freeze the yellow one.
I was thinking if
Yeah,
you're gonna
is
play
a
into the
bad
house,
idea.
I think
Yeah.
you have to corner
I
freeze.
agree. You
because
don't want to be high.
anything short here, you're effectively gonna give Heather Drexel the opportunity to draw around the rock you just threw.
They're all lined up with the, they're blended in with the. They match the ring. Yeah, they do. When they're camouflaged. If they put their head, like look right down, when you see their faces.
That too. No, just kidding. All right, what was the call here?
I believe the last thing I saw here was.
I was distracted.
I believe the last thing I saw here was the corner freeze.
Yeah, I think I really like this call. By doing that, by corner freezing, you're into the full 8 foot now. And again, that out turn path for Heather is kind of blocked right now with that Yellowstone sitting top 8. Yes, she can tap it and move it, but I think it makes her degree of difficulty a little bit higher. So we don't want to be light on this one. You don't want to be outside the rings.
I think as long as you're within a couple inches of that yellow rock,
Yeah.
it's a really good shot and just really keeps that area for multiple points down.
Be nice to get right to the face though, Daniel, because you don't want to set up a double.
The rock covered about an inch.
Did she set up a double there, do you think?
I think if you got to nose, it'd be very close. You could try the slash double, but I think that blue rock on top sticks and that yellow rock's going to fly out because of the spin rotation of the rock.
Yeah, that curls another inch or two. I don't think the shot is there.
If you're Team Drexel, would you be trying to go for double, at least trying to get up, trying to potentially get those extra points? Or would you be going for the draw like Heather is here?
I'd almost play the run, I think.
I think I would go for the run
Yeah,
as well,
I
just
would
for
too.
at least, again, to your point earlier about risk and reward, I think the reward here is high enough that
I agree.
it warrants the shot.
And from our vantage point, it looks like you can see just all edge on edge, so I think the shot's there. I think for her to play this shot, this is a tough way to get a deuce if she makes this perfect.
She can get the nose.
Anyway, draw opportunity here for Heather Drexel at her first in the 5th end. Trying to get this one buried around that blue rock sitting top 12 that Sarah Daniels just threw. If she can get it half buried, I'm not sure Sarah can get it out.
This is
But
curling early.
tolerance is really small on this shot.
Weight looks good. It's going to slip deep behind the tee line.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of room for error on that shot. It was a very high degree of difficulty.
The sweepers were on that early more for the line than the weight,
I agree,
just because
yeah.
they didn't get by that top 12 blue rock very much. So opportunity here for Sarah Daniels.
So if
get
Sarah's
a second
calling the
shot.
same shot here, Daniel, I kind of like her. She doesn't need to be anywhere near that blue stone.
I think keeping the two blues as far away,
I
apart
agree.
from each other, this would be the best option.
Well, she's in such a good spot right now. What she should be thinking maybe is, how do I even maybe steal one and make Heather Drexel's draw even more difficult? So she doesn't need to be this far over. I'd be taking another 6 inches of ice.
Another thing I think that's here is that Heather Drexel would have an opportunity to play that in off the yellow near the center line. And it's a fairly riskless shot because the potential payoff is 2 points. And if you're it curls up just a little bit, you have a couple things that can catch the rock and you still get your 1 point. At this point in the game, I think it's worth taking a little bit of risk.
The other thing they can do is actually just nose the yellow stone that Heather Drexel would be looking to do the in-off on.
And you're right.
Because right now, that other than the draw, that looks like the only potential opportunity for her. So I'm actually going back now just to the hit and stick. To the one that Heather's probably going to use if she can't make a draw.
Isn't it great how we can talk about different options and come to different conclusions?
Yeah.
That's what I love about curling.
And it is pretty easy up here, right?
Oh, there's so many ways to skin a cat up here. PETA, please don't sue me for that.
That's a pretty good spot. I still would have liked that more towards the center, but that's a pretty good spot. She did take a little extra ice on that.
And Heather Drexel here contemplating her options.
Yep, so again, risk versus reward. Do I draw for 1, or does she play the in-off and maybe try and get her 2? Difficult shot for 2.
I see Everly Roya sort of motioning that she's looking at the corner guard slashing to potentially get her 2. If she makes it perfect, I guess that would be for 3. That's a very difficult shot since no one's really thrown a rock out that far.
It is for 3, you're right. Looks like you can see, about 3/4, almost 7/8 of that rock from our vantage point.
I'm looking at the far camera, and it looks like there is a little bit covered, which adds some difficulty to the shot. And as we said before, the risk reward here, Heather feels that the risk is worth it to take on this risk.
Yeah, just basically hit what you can see, I think, Dan, and
It's real close.
I think she could potentially get 3 here.
As long as you make contact with that yellow rock, you will make it. Or the second yellow rock, I mean.
It's going to be frosty out there. There hasn't been a lot of rocks thrown this far out.
This looks
Gotta
close,
go
Melissa.
hard on it.
They're super hard, curled early.
Oh, just going to hit the top one.
Good for everyone saying that, though.
What a great call, great opportunity, and great try by Heather Drexel. So it looks like it is a steal of 1 for Team Daniels, and they take a 5-1 lead after 5, and we'll be back in a few minutes for the 6th then.
Miles ago, champ.
Shouldn't we be going faster?
Nah, with Bel Air Direct, you can save money on your optional car insurance by driving safely.
Up to 25%. Slow and steady, champ.
Save up to 25% for safe driving on your optional car insurance with Bel Air Direct.
Welcome back to Royal City Curling Club. And we are in end 6 of an 8-end game here between Team Drexel and Team Daniels. Huge attempt by Heather Drexel on her last one, Dan, to try and get a 3 ball and just over-curled a little bit, but not many people saw that shot.
Gotta give credit to Everly Roya there for at least seeing the shot and telling Heather, we're down a couple, we gotta go for it. Why not?
Why not?
I think you gotta respect Heather Drexel for taking on that risk as well. You know, not a lot of players would have seen and gone for that, so.
So Hannah Linder's rock slips into the back button, so opportunity here now for a corner guard. Still 3 ends to go here, so Heather's got to be thinking about what her game plan is for the next 3 ends. She needs to at least put a deuce on the board in this 6th end. Kind of running out of ends, but still has the time to do that.
At the very worst, Heather Drexel should at least have a shot to score here and keep herself in the game. Go back to this now.
Funny though.
Here we have Team Dallas continue to play into the house, seeing as how Team Drexel is going to have to be playing a lot of setup shots to try and generate extra points. Hannah Lindner just coming up a little bit short there in front of the house. I think right now for Team Drexel, almost any guard's a good guard.
I agree. So Heather's going to make a decision here. She can either come to the one that's back button. She can go around the corner guard that Naomi threw.
The call here is to go around the corner guard and keep play off to the side.
Where the placement of that corner guard is too, Dan, she could actually go on the wide outside, but we haven't played a lot that way, so she might not be sure what the ice is doing out there.
And also the ice is curling so much that you almost have to be taking ice on the next sheet. I don't think Heather's too comfortable doing that. I know, for sure, we wouldn't want to be throwing 8 feet off the next sheet.
There's a chance here that Sarah doesn't like that blue guard and may ask Jordan to get rid of it, but we'll see.
Rock just coming up a little bit short of the house, but still acceptable tolerance, keeping more guards in play.
No, looks like she's going to go for it. Going to try and beat Team Drexel in. Put this one top 12, top 8.
Then Team Drexel's going to have to make a decision whether they want to make sure they can score or whether they're going to go right into the house and go for it. This is Jordan Henson's first rock in the 6th end. Sweepers seem to like it.
This one's got a little extra weight, waiting for it to curl.
Here's the curl.
This is better management of this stone.
Still gliding. There's the curl, and it's just slowing down right to the face of the one back button. Heather Drexel not liking that guard just short of the house now. Want to open up just because those 2 rocks in the button. We'll give her a nightmare later in the end if she leaves them untouched.
Yeah, right now there's no room to score, so she needs to clear some stuff off. Hit and roll to the side was even good, or if she runs it back into the pile and gets things moving, that's okay too. It'd be nice to save this as a shooter or a corner guard. I'm not sure why they're actually swept that off.
I think when if you're gonna call for the hit and roll, you want to take a little bit, either the weight down and just make sure you can save it, or just go all out for the triple.
Yeah, and I don't know if they were doing either because they swept it the whole way down and needed to curl.
Looked like it sort of got in between. They really didn't want to leave that guard sitting there without removing the ones in the house. However, even at this stage, at least having rocks of your color in front of the house is an advantage.
I agree. Is Jordan Henson with her 2nd stone.
Being asked to put the guard back. Looks like a curl a little early, and Sarah Loken's on the brush, keeping it straighter. So a little bit of weight. It's going to slip into the rings there. Fully open, just on the center line. Guess a little bit of opportunity missed there for Team Daniels with coming into the house there. Again, the tolerance wasn't very much, just because if you're a little high, the opportunity to hit the ones in the button were there, but if you go into the house, the hit and roll opportunity will be there for Team Drexel. Melissa, for Team Daniels there, would you have elected to potentially play the peel to keep it open and just try and limit the potential danger of Team Drexel getting around that corner guard?
Yeah, I think the way the blue ones were positioned on the button and side, I think it was an easy shot for Team Drexel, so I think that's why Sarah elected to do that, to try and kind of protect it, but if the opportunity's there now, there is a chance later in the end that Drexel could potentially get behind it. But right now it's just a hit and stick, maybe hitting just a slight roll to center for Sarah Loken.
Melissa, here, would you, for Sarah Daniels, would you have hit one of the corner guards? Just because hitting and sticking on that back blue one is very difficult for Team Drexel at this point in time.
Instead of playing this shot?
Yeah.
I don't know, I kind of like that shot.
I mean, she got a very good result getting the nice roll
It's hard
there.
to make the double peel, I guess, is maybe what she's thinking. If you, I mean, you get rid of one guard, does that do anything for you? I don't know. Maybe?
I think it just reduces the amount of risk that comes up later, and by playing that run back for Team Drexel, it would have left their rocks grouped.
What you're saying, Daniel, is you would have played the peel.
I'm looking at different sort of options. But I'm saying that with those guards there, Team Drexel is having the opportunity that they could get them underneath that corner guard there.
Then she'll peel.
And there's still the... but then you're a little late.
No, I hear what you're saying.
A nice roll here. Nice roll here by Team Drexel would definitely put the ball back in their court. Just not quite curling up enough for them.
You see the weight they're throwing there, Dan, though, is, and we alluded to it a couple of rocks ago. You know, to get the hit and roll, I know the ice curls a lot, but to play the hit and roll, you want to have manageable weight.
Yeah.
You don't need to throw, you know, a normal weight. You need to bring it down a little bit and let the sweepers be involved.
Just bring it down to like a board. You can always play around with the rolls. The sweepers are right engaged with it. You have a lot of control with the amount of curl that you're getting. And I think we're now into the sixth end. The curls become a lot more manageable compared to in the first or second end.
I agree. This one's curling early on Team Daniels. Would love to leave it hanging out that way, but plan B here is now to roll it.
Sarah wants to roll this
What
way
a
over.
Great call by Sarah Daniels. Just she knew that she didn't want to leave it right there. So great call. Got it away from the back button area.
Not much option here for Heather Drexel other than to go to the forefoot. And Melissa, I think we're going to start seeing this scoring area here for Team Drexel start to shrink
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
I agree.
With a couple freezes on that back four.
If you look at our screen, I mean, this turn looks perfect to get to the back one, but again, we haven't seen any rocks out there, and as you said, you may have to almost go to the other sheet to get there.
And no one's thrown a rock there, so it's
Nobody's
going to be
thrown a
very slow, and it's a total guess in the weight.
Exactly. So big shot here for Everly. Tolerance here is to be on the lighter side of this one. Unfortunately, she's going to just scoot to the back 8.
And you know, that rock didn't seem to curl quite as much as the other ones, and maybe that's part of the reason it didn't quite, or it went a little further back, just because when it curls, it takes the weight off. Team Daniels electing to hit the rock back 8. Wants to roll off here so that not leave Heather Drexel any opportunity to freeze in the back.
Yeah, Sarah Daniels is in a good position right now, and you're right, Dan. She just wants to get rid of that rock and definitely roll her shooter out.
Yeah, she doesn't need to worry about sticking here because she doesn't need any points, and she doesn't want to leave any room for any opening for Team Drexel here. And this nice clean throw makes the peel.
No mistake there by Sarah. So Heather's going to attempt to try and get one fully buried, side button. Half buried, I guess. The scoring area, as you mentioned, is pretty small right now, so she needs to put this one in a good spot.
We'll get you score updates after the conclusion of this end for the other games.
Heather Drexel with her first here in the 6th, trailing by 4. This is a big draw for Heather. She's been struggling on her draws so far this game.
And this looks a little bit warm. The sweepers are right off. Slowing down the back four. Jordan Henson sweeping it back. And it'll be into the back 8.
And it is third shot, so a little heavy for Heather Drexel.
I think here we're going to see Sarah Daniels try and choke off that draw path and make Heather Drexel's draw a lot harder for this shot.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be hitting the one at the back.
And it looks like she's electing to go top 12, top 8, and just try and choke off that path.
This is a good call by Sarah.
You don't need to hit that one back 8, just because it shouldn't come into play. Just because removing both those blue rocks is very, very difficult at this time.
Final stone, Sarah Daniels in the 6th end. We have game 3 for both of these teams. Sarah coming in with a 2-0 record, Heather with a 1-1 record.
Super seem to like it. Sarah Loken just cleaning this. Just going a little further out, and both sweepers are on the brush now. Trying to drag this just a little bit further. Melissa, that ended up in a really good spot just because that's almost the exact path that Heather just threw her last rock.
Well, Heather's got to get to about half the button or half the 4-foot here. So she's just going to try and figure out if she can throw the out turn at it or if she wants to play the wide in turn.
I think that out turn path through the hole is probably the easiest shot, but with so much curl in the ice, it's not an easy shot.
No, not with those rocks up front, that's for sure.
And going further out, we've only seen one draw on that path all game, and that was it.
Well, this is not an easy shot.
Further to Sarah Daniels' last shot, it was super important for her to keep it in front of the house or in that top area to not give Heather Drexel either a hit or hit and roll for a point. So here we have Heather Drexel attempting to draw into the 4-foot for a point here in the 6th end. Oh, she's changed up her ice.
So I think if she's going to come through the port down, she almost needs to come with the out turn.
If she's going to play with the in-turn, she'd have to almost chunk off that blue one that's there and roll into the 4-foot with like backline weight.
I would, if I'm coming through the port, I'd play the other turn for sure. It just looks easier by the way that the guards are lined up.
And timeout called by Coach Ken Britz. And we have our second timeout called by Team Drexel here in the 6th end.
So Ken Britz made his way down to talk to Heather and the team to see what her final rock will be.
Just to contemplate some options, just put a little bit of confidence into the girls and make sure that they're really making the right decision here. Also gives Heather a little bit of a chance to reset before she throws. Looked like a little bit of confusion between the house and the hack. You really want to be confident in the shot you're going to throw before you let go. This is one of those times where I really wish we had the coaches on mic so we could just hear what they're saying. Get a little bit of their insight.
Or we can just ask him when he comes back.
But it'd be more fun to ask him on the ice.
They'd be happy to tell
Don't forget, we'll be broadcasting again at 12 noon today, 4 and 8, it looks like. And joining us later on in the commentating booth is Tyler Tardy, two-time world champion.
Two-time world champion, 3-time Canadian junior champion, and 3-time champion of this event.
Wow. He might have something to say.
He's a pretty smart cookie. He also likes to have a lot of fun, so all our viewers are going to have a lot of fun watching him later. And it looks like Team Drexel's come to a decision, probably a little influenced by Coach Ken. I'm going to be playing the out-turn draw through the port to the edge of the forefoot to get their 1 point.
Yeah, like we said, Dan, there's really no easy shot here for Heather. It's very difficult to get to that forefoot just by the placement of that blue stone by Sarah Daniels. So, but I think this is probably your best option. You did talk about the in-turn and maybe throwing a little extra weight and ticking off and rolling, but that's so precise. But really, the tolerance here is there's not a lot of room.
The tolerance here really is make the shot.
Yeah.
I mean, Team Drexel really can't afford to give up any more points here either.
So she can just, I think the sweepers, as long as the weight's good, they can be on this because they want to make sure they get it through the port. If they get it through the port, she'll be really close. It's got to go for weight. Got to go for weight.
Got to keep it
She's
straight
so
enough too.
Close.
And the rock
Oh,
just over
what
curls
a
a
great
hair.
try. Has she got it?
I don't think she quite got it, but a great effort.
Oh, I see. Maybe 10.
And I think from our view, it's 1 point for
They're going to have a measure.
Team Daniels, but again, that's off the camera, and the camera can always be off. I don't think I want to be betting on this one.
Oh, come on. Pick one. I'll pick blue.
I'm picking blue.
No, you can't pick blue. I just picked blue.
I pick blue.
You have to pick yellow.
I'm not picking yellow.
Okay, I'm picking yellow.
Go for it.
Fine. Oh, that was such a great shot by Heather, and if they would have swept that just a little bit earlier to keep it straighter longer, they would have had it. Just
I
a little
think
bit
so.
of a management there. She threw perfect weight. Perfect weight. That's one of those ones, Dan, you really want to hold it out, and you can play it tight on the one side of the sheet, and once it starts to curl, though, the weight comes off so fast.
Yeah.
So just a little mismanagement, but great throw by Heather Drexel.
And the more these girls play on tour this year, the better they're going to get at that as well.
Absolutely. So we'll see how accurate our cameras are here. It does look a little bluish from the overhead. Measurement. And it is blue.
And it's blue.
So 1 on the board for Team Daniels, and they take a 6-1 lead after 6, and we'll be back right after this quick break.
Miles ago, champ.
Shouldn't we be going faster?
Nah, with Bel Air Direct, you can save money on your optional car insurance by driving safely.
Up to 25%. Slow and steady, champ.
Save up to 25% for safe driving on your optional car insurance with Bel Air Direct.
Welcome back to the Royal City Curling Club for the 2019 Anita Cochrane Memorial Junior Classic. We're going to get you updated on all the action here coming up in just a second. Before we get into that, I'd like to thank our sponsors. So our Curl BC sponsors, Bel Air Direct and Best Western, and to all of our local sponsors here in the Lower Mainland, the Bassett family, Westminster Savings, Padres Fish and Chips, Refresh Carpet and Upholstery Care, and Boston Pizza New Westminster. On sheet 1, we have Team Calhoun leading Team Douglas 5-2 in the 7th end. On sheet 2, The last update we have is Team Sato leading Team Fei 6-1. Oh, they just updated the score. It is now 6-2 for Team Sato. On sheet 3, we have Team Kamada leading Team Carpenter 5-2. On sheet 5, we have Team Elizabeth Bowles up 8-3 on Team 4K Girls. And on sheet 5, we have a final score. And on sheet 6, we have Team Preston Ballard up 8-4 over Team McNeil. Looks like we have some technical difficulties here. Just a second.
There we go.
Technical difficulties fixed. Thank you, Marcio Cerquino, for your help. And we're back here for the 7th end between Team Brian Jessel BMW, skipped by Sarah Daniels, against Team Heather Drexel. We saw a great attempt to draw to the forefoot for a point by Heather Drexel, just overcurling just a pinch and not quite getting the measure.
So Hannah Lindner on her first goes top 4, corner guard by Team Drexel. Hannah attempting to come into the same area, just side forefoot. And just goes a little deep, back button. And now a second corner guard going up by Heather Drexel.
Really early this end for Team Daniels. They've got control of that forefoot now, and you're probably going to watch them put up a center guard to really take control of that. This corner guard looking a little bit heavy, and it's going to slip into the rings here. Oh, it's got a lot of weight. It's almost slipping through. Sarah Daniels on the brush, taking it out of the house. I think maybe a little bit of that is starting to get to be some of that mental fatigue in it being a morning game.
So with the 5-rock rule, that corner guard can't be removed yet. So Jordan Henson coming to the center. Sarah Daniels probably not liking the position of that rock sitting back button right now. So I want this one to be fairly tight.
Sarah looking just cleaned up the whole way. Weight's pretty good. A few feet short of the house. Does get a little bit of overcurl and gives Heather Drexel a little bit of opportunity to move those top 4 rocks back, maybe set up a bit of a pocket for herself and get the juice generated.
At the 12 o'clock game today, Dan, we're featuring Team Caldwell versus Team Dawson Ballard. So please join us here on the ProBC YouTube page. And I believe Will Sutton and Chris Summers will be doing the commentating. But don't let that stop you from watching.
Never a dull moment around these parts. Got non-stop action all weekend. Sarah Daniels recognized an opportunity here, calling for the guard.
And again, looking at that rock, as good as Team Daniels looks right now, Dan, that sitting back button is not in a good position for Team Daniels, so they need to prevent Team Drexel from having access to it. So anywhere on the outside of the center line here, like on the left side of the center line, would be good for this shot. You don't want to overcurl and give them access to it. Because they put one right on there, they're not going to have a chance.
Heather here seen a little too much danger for her. Like, though being down 5 at this point, I think you have to take a few chances and really going for it.
Well, and the way the ice curls, that shot is there to freeze to the one back button, so she could definitely do that.
And that guard that Jordan Henson just threw is quite high, and there is an opportunity to get around quite literally everything. And the rock just thrown by Tana short removes the intended rock and jams on the side corner guard, leaving a little bit closer to center. And to Melissa's point, because that rock's so... or the rock back button is exposed and available for Team Drexel to potentially freeze, with that jam there, it actually might just be inside enough to choke off that draw path, which isn't the best situation for Team Drexel.
So Sarah Loken in her first here in the 7th. This one's got a lot of curling to do. Just love to get to just cross center.
And they got Hannah Lidner trying to make this curl. Just crossed a little bit.
Yeah, and a little tighter is good too. Just as you say, to protect that intern freeze. It's a pretty good shot.
Very nice shot by Sarah Loken.
Yeah, I don't think there's any access now.
And again, Heather Drexel, not liking the situation, is electing to peel off the center guards.
Not sure she's got anything else right now, Dan.
The only other thing I kind of see is potentially running the blue back and trying to spill off the ones in the middle and getting the peel if it just happens to stay a little wide. At least try and open it up and take a chance, but maybe it's just not quite part of the comfort zone.
This one's gonna almost get, if they leave it, it'll get to nose, but it's a pretty good shot.
And they're gonna spin the shooter up away from the center line. It's actually a very nice shot.
It is a really good shot.
Getting it away from the center and really opening up that area so that they can have access later.
So Sarah's electing to guard the yellow stone that's protecting the back blue one simply because the intern freeze to that one back button is not there. So this is a really good call. She can actually just be on split center almost and take away that yellow raise, which is what she's got right now, what Heather's got right now.
Yeah, Team Daniels here has a lot of tolerance where you have quite a bit of room on either side of that yellow rock that you can make this and still be a very good shot. But you probably do want to be a little bit more on the center line side.
This looks like it's going to be...
Just a little bit of a high rock there from Sarah Loken. Gives Team Drexel the opportunity to potentially come in just because the ice does curl so much.
Yeah, it looks like we can see maybe a third to a half.
I'd say about half, but that rock's only a few feet over the hog line, and with a nice controlled or board weight, you could move that yellow rock and get the roll underneath as well.
Look where she's got the broom placement, Dan. She's not playing any board weight here.
No, it looked like she's calling for the peel. I mean, you've been given the opportunity here. I'm surprised that they didn't go for.
I agree. Yeah, you got to throw a lighter weight here. So it looks like they're going straight peel now. So that was a small opening for Team Drexel, and those are the ones that you've got to take advantage of.
Yeah, you're not going to get opportunities like that very often, especially against Team Daniels.
So opportunity here for Sarah on her first here in 7. Put that rock just a little bit closer to center than the last guard.
And this is Sarah Daniels' first rock in the 7th end here.
Sweeper's just managing this stone. Just would like to get it, as we say, just a couple more inches towards the center.
They're just cleaning for most of the way, and now they're right off the rock.
It's gonna stop in a fairly good position, I'd say.
Stopped in a very good spot.
Yep.
So we're also getting to be a little late for Team Drexel to be making any big moves, and they're going to have to make a run at that soon.
I agree. Yeah, now's the time.
It looks like they're trying to play the run back now. Yeah, that looks like the motion for that. That's another difficult part of this shot as well, is that it's going to be very difficult to stick your yellow rock. If you make this, it's going to be difficult to stick your yellow rock behind cover.
Do you like this turn and crossing it, or do you like coming into it the other way?
I think this is a matter of ice preference. I wouldn't... Whatever you're more comfortable with would be the correct call here, I think.
Yeah, and if we go back to a number of ends ago, Heather was choosing to throw her in-turn hit,
Yep.
in-turn hit, and now we've gone to the out-turn, so she might just like this one a little better at this point. She's had a lot of success the other way as well. Difficult shot here for Heather. Try and get some rocks moving.
Oh, they're sweet.
I think they need to be off that.
They need to be off this. It needs to curl up a little bit more.
Oh, not sure what they were...
I think what they were thinking is that they weren't going to make the shot, and they wanted to roll their yellow rock off. But actually, the yellow rock actually ended up in an okay spot because you potentially are able to run that in on the next shot. So of course, Sarah Daniels here electing to put center guard and make Heather Drexel's next shot much more difficult.
Yeah, I think if they just left that one, though, down, they actually would have had it.
It would have been very close.
Yeah. We have another final on sheet 1. Team Calhoun defeating Team Douglas.
We also have another final on sheet 7 with Team Preston Ballard defeating Team McNeil,
Sheet 7?
or sheet 6.
Wow. They put a 7th sheet here?
We should put a 7th and 8th sheet here. It's so busy.
I agree. What a great host the Rose City Curling Club has been this weekend. Fantastic. If you're in the area, come down and watch. It's pretty packed in here. Great shot by Sarah Daniels.
I don't know if you can see very much, if any, of that yellow rock on the top 8. Yeah, I think Heather's got the right idea here. The only option to score is to run the one she just threw.
I agree. So just a little high side. I think she'll get something moving.
Yeah, you're only looking for like an inch high, and it should be real close.
Heather Drexel, her final stone, 7th end, trying to somehow find a way to score.
Trying to manufacture a couple points here.
And this one's just not moving for her. It's going to go right by, I think.
And right by the run rock. It's going to be a steal of 2 for Team Daniels to go up 8-1.
So 8-1 Team Daniels over Team Drexel with 1 end to play. We do have another final over on sheet 2. Team Sato defeating Team Faye. And we also have handshakes on our sheet. Team Daniels going to 3-0 defeating Team Drexel, who falls to 1-2. Dan, been fun.
It's been a great time, Melissa.
We'll,
Great game to watch. Lots of opportunities both ways.
yeah, please join us again at 12 o'clock noon for our next game here on the Curl BC YouTube page. See you then.
We look forward to seeing you all soon. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors for the event. Thank you, Curl BC, Bel Air Direct, and Best Western. And we'd also like to give a huge shout out to the Bassett family for helping organize this, as well as being the title sponsor. We'd also like to thank Westminster Savings, Powder's Fish and Chips, Refresh Carpet and Upholstery Care, and Boston Pizza New Westminster. We will see you at 12 o'clock noon for Caldwell versus Dawson Ballard.
Bye for now.
Great job, you two. You guys are amazing.
I'm coming to